Welcome along to this webinar on the 3 tricks to getting promoted that no one ever tells you. So today I just want to go through some tricks that will help you get promoted. I want to share with you a big secret about what most successful women have done in order to get to the top jobs. And I just want to share a few little tips on how you can unlock your inner potential. So this session is for you if you're a woman who wants to climb the corporate ladder. And I left school at 16 with practically no qualifications and became a senior leader. And a huge part of my success was through internal promotion. So I just want to share with you some tips. Now, the tips can be used for internal and external promotion, but I just want to share some tips with you that will help you get promoted, if assuming that's what you're looking for. So my big promise from this session is that by the end of it, you will believe in yourself. So you'll be able to say, yes, I can do this. It is possible. Whatever it is possible to do. It's possible for you to climb that ladder. It's possible for you to get promoted, and you need to believe it. The first question to ask yourself is why? Why is it that you want to get promoted? That might be because you want to earn more money. It might be that you want the status of a senior leader role. You want to be called a director, perhaps. It's a nice, sexy title. Maybe it's because you want to make a bigger impact. And obviously, the more authority you've got, the more clout you've got, the bigger impact you can actually make on an organization, on the customers, on the service that you're providing. It might be that you want to do more good. Whatever it is, I want you to be clear on why you want promotion. Because when you get connected with your why, then the how becomes a bit easier and you'll get committed. You'll be driven to achieve your goals. But what I want you to make sure is that you've got a good reason for wanting it and that you're not doing it because you think you should or because somebody else has told you that you should. So this is about you understanding the reason for you, and only you can decide why you want it and what it is that you want. So have a little think about what it is that you want to do and why you want to do it. And then I want to share with you a few mindset shifts. Because if you're going to get promoted and climb the ladder, then there's a few things that you just need to get your head around. Now, one of those is understanding that working hard is not what gets you promoted. It might contribute towards it, it might help, but working hard alone is not what gets you promoted. And we'll talk about that a bit more. You also need to understand that long service doesn't get you promoted either. Just because you've been somewhere a long time does not mean that you are naturally showing as the best person for that job. You will not just automatically get promoted because you've been around for a long time. And you'll have seen it yourself, won't you? People who've come into an organisation and they've been there 5 minutes and they're already being promoted. They're already climbing that ladder. And you'll have seen the people who don't work as hard as you do who get promoted as well. And there are reasons for this, but you need to get your head around the fact that these two things alone will not automatically get you promoted. Got it? Now, the other thing I just want you to get your head around is money. It is okay to like money. After all, we only go to work for money, don't we? Money is what we need in order to have a good life. Money is what makes the world go around. And you need to understand that it's okay to like money. It's okay to want to be earning 100 grand and, being a senior leader. It's okay to want that because it's not greedy to want more money. This is about you having a great life, providing a great life for the people around you. And I also want you to understand that you are good enough to earn that money. So, sometimes we hold ourselves back from applying for that next level job because it's 20 grand more than we earn at the moment. And we think, I can't possibly be worth it. Or you think, it's so much money, I'm never going to be able to do the job. None of that is true. It's all just what you're telling yourself. So change your relationship with money. Learn to like the idea of earning more money. What would that mean to you? It's okay to like money. So as I said at the beginning, a huge amount of my success was due to internal promotion. And I remember the first time it happened to me, and I remember how I felt about it. So my first opportunity to become a team leader, to move into a management role, came up. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, yeah, I really want to be promoted. I was ambitious. I was young. I was good at the job. I'd been in the job for a little while. There's no reason why, I wouldn't have been good enough to apply for that job, but I just didn't feel confident enough. I didn't feel like I knew enough to do that next level job. And then I thought, well, even if I got the job, would I be able to do it? It's a bit of a scary thought. And I just ultimately felt not ready and not confident enough. So I didn't go for it. But one of my colleagues went for it, and he was just the same as me. He'd been there about the same amount of time. He was average at the job, and he went for this job, and he got it. So then I watched him when he was in this job, and as I watched him, I was like, I could do that. It's like, oh goodness, why didn't you apply for it? So it taught me not to miss opportunities, even if you're scared, even if you don't feel ready, even if you don't feel confident enough. It taught me to go for it anyway. What's the worst thing that could happen? I could have gone for it and not got it, and then I would have learned from it and established what I needed to do to get ready for it next time. So it just changed my mindset. And then, over the years, I then was able to stand out of my own way, get out of my own way, and move forward and apply for jobs. And the biggest message I want you to understand from this is it is not confidence that you need, it's courage. Because if you're confident, you'll be confident that you can do the job. You'll be confident that you'll get the job. You'll be confident that you're good enough for it. But you don't. You might not be confident. You just need the courage. And courage is when you go for something, even when you don't know what the outcome is going to be. So you have to take that step sometimes. You just have to be brave enough to find the courage to go for it. And I'd really encourage you just to go for it. So have a think about what it is that's stopping you. Okay, so let's have a think about these 3 tricks to getting promoted, and there'll be things that people don't normally tell you. So the first thing is I want you to be more average at your job. What? I hear you say, more average? Surely I should be great at my job. No, you only need to be average at your job, just good enough. Do the job good enough. What tends to happen is we do such a good job um, and it just doesn't need to be. We do not need to be doing 100% when 80% will do. We definitely don't need to be doing 120% when 80% will do. And what happens is you start to think, that you're going the extra mile, that you're doing this amazing work, but it holds you back. Excelling at the job you're doing at the moment holds you back because you get a really good reputation for being good at that job. People don't want you to leave. You feel loyal and to your team, so you don't want to leave. You feel comfortable in this job. You're an expert at this job. You like being the expert at it, so you don't want to leave. And then what also happens is you end up spending your time focusing on getting good at this job, but that's not helping your career. You're focusing on this job and you're not focusing on your career. And then you're committing so much time and energy to this job that you're not giving yourself the space to develop into the next job. So let me just share that being good at this job is not what gets you to the next job, because the next job will need different skills. And remember, you don't take this job with you when you move to the next job. The next job is the next level up. Somebody else takes over what you're doing. You do the next level job. So you need to find a way to learn and show that you are capable of doing the tasks that are needed in the next level job. This is about proving your potential. So this might be where you could go and ask your manager if you can take on some tasks off them. This might be where you go and get involved in a project that's going to improve your skills, where you can learn more stuff. It might be that you go to a next level up meeting just to observe and see how people behave and learn from it. You need to find some things that show you that you can do the next level job, and they show other people watching that you can do the next level job. Now, sometimes when I talk about this, people start thinking, well, why should I take on my manager's tasks when they're getting paid more money than I am? Why would I take on doing tasks that I'm not getting paid for? Now, if you've got that mindset, then you're never going to get far, because this is a very fixed and closed mindset. You need to change your mindset. You need to be thinking differently about it. Flip it round to be thinking, this is an opportunity. This is free training. My manager wants me to take on something, or I can take on something from this is free training. This is finding out how to do the next level job for free. So have a little think about thinking differently about that. What could you take on? Now, we're not talking about being dumped on by a manager. We're not talking about taking on the tasks that they don't want to do. This is about you choosing what you want to take on and talking to them about it and explaining why you want to do it, and trying to explain that you want to get on, but you also want to help them. So have a little think about that. What tasks could you take on that will get you ready for that next level job? So this is prove your potential, develop the skills you need for the next level job, and focus on your career, not your job. So are you clear on what next step is? Do you even know what skills and that you need to be the next level up? What tasks could you take on? Go away and have a think about what you could do differently. Okay, so trick 2 is all about standing out. You need to stop hiding. I know we like hiding, don't we? We like sitting there with our head down doing this amazing job that we're doing. But you need to stand out. People need to know who you are if you want to get promoted, if you want opportunities. So this is about speaking up. When you go to meetings, go to the meeting for a start. And then when you go, speak up. Tell them your ideas, add your opinion, share your ideas, share all of your ideas and opinions so that people know who you are. Now, this is about being constructive, though, and about being relevant. This is not about being negative, because nobody likes a negative Nelly. So this is about following the corporate line, following the visions and missions. Easy to say, not. But this is about prepare yourself. If you're going to a meeting, you can look at the agenda beforehand and think, how could I input to this? What are my views on this? Let's have a think about what I can add, where I can add value. And then add your value, ask your questions. Now, when I say, be corporate, and that doesn't mean you can't challenge. You can absolutely challenge things, but in a positive way. You don't want to be confrontational about it, because that doesn't do you any favors at all. Now, if you find yourself in a position where you regularly don't like the mission of your organization, if you just generally disagree with everything that's going on, then it's probably time to find a new company, because you need to find somewhere you can work where you can support their corporate mission. Now, you might not agree with everything, but you need to generally agree and then support it. Be vocal about supporting it, because that's what they're looking for. If you want to climb the ladder, you have to support the corporate objectives. So get involved with things, get away from your desk. People need to know who you are. And even though, people aren't in the office as much now, there are still Teams meetings going on. There's still opportunity to get involved in things. And if you can go into the office and meet people, great, or go out and meet people at other offices, then do all that. But even virtually, you can still stand out. You can still attend meetings and ask your questions and give your opinions. So this is all about attending and contributing. So have a think about it. How well do you stand out at the moment? Do people know who you are? Are they likely to come and invite you into something because they welcome your opinions? And trick 3 is, it's not what you know, it is who you know. How many times have you seen people get a job that was never advertised? How many times have you not gone for a job because you know somebody else is earmarked for it? Leaders and employers, they like low risk. They like things that they don't have to worry about. They like to employ people who they know could do the job, who they know are going to be easy to manage, who they know are not going to cause them any problems. They like a known quality. They like that reliability. So this is about you getting known. So, the more people who are already higher up the chain that make the decisions, the influences, they need to know who you are. Now, being visible, like we talked about, standing out, that definitely helps. But you need to take it that step further. So the thing to think about is how you can network. How can you build your connections? Now, you can go external networking, and this is a good strategy. It's a long-term strategy, because external networking doesn't change anything overnight. But particularly when you work in a particular sector, you'll find you'll go to conferences and events and you'll start to meet the same people. Target the people that you know are in senior jobs or HR jobs, the people that are going to be decision makers when they're recruiting the next senior level manager. Networking can be so effective, but you do have to work at it. You have to go places for a start, go on your own so that you are motivated to go and talk to people. And then you need to nurture those relationships. So don't just meet them at the event and go away. Email them afterwards. See if you can have a Zoom call or a Teams call with them. See if you can meet them for coffee. Make sure that they're going to the next event that comes up. Nurture those relationships, because we're not very good at that as women. We're good at having relationships, but we don't capitalize on them. We don't use them for what they need to be. And when you go networking, you'll meet people a job will come up and they'll go, I know just the person for that. Let me go and see if they're interested. And then if you're looking for a job, you can go to them and say, do you know any jobs are coming up? Because I'm really looking at taking that next step. So it's often about who you know. Now, the other thing about networking is to remember that internal networking is just as important. So get out of your desk, get out of your own team, and go and meet people in your organization. You can use a reason like, oh, I'm on this project and so it would be really good to go and talk to them. I need some advice about XYZ. Who do I know about that? Let's go and talk to them. Maybe you can find a senior leader that's kind of in the area that you might want to move into, and book a virtual coffee or a real coffee with them, depending on, your circumstances. They've all got egos, those senior managers. So if you build up and go, oh, I really like the way you did this. Do you think you could spend 30 minutes of your time explaining to me how I could do this better? Or would you be my mentor? Or, just find a way to talk to these people. Even though they're scary, they don't feel like they're scary. Believe me, I know when I was a senior manager and you think, why are they scared of talking to me? Because I'm just a person. And they really are just people. So find a way to go and have a conversation with people so they get to know you. So internal networking, external networking, build your connections, because it's often who you know that gets you the job. So who do you know? Who do you know that you could go and talk to that could help you now or in the future? Make a list. So let me talk to you about the one big secret that I know gets people promoted, that gets people those next level jobs. And it is being comfortable to promote yourself. Because as women, we don't like doing that. We don't like selling ourselves. We feel it's all sleazy. We feel arrogant doing it. But honestly, you have to learn to get good at selling yourself and promoting yourself. So this is, sometimes it's about claiming your achievements, because you will have achieved a lot of stuff. And it's about saying, I did this rather than we did this, taking the credit for it, not for somebody else's work, just for the work that you've done. Take the credit for what you've done. Now, here, I might just say, do you even know what you've done? Do you know what your successes are, what your outcomes, what your achievements are? Because sometimes we're so busy that we don't even make a note of the things that go on. We don't keep records. You need to start keeping records. You need to keep records of your successes, your outcomes, the things you've achieved, the challenges you've faced, all of your skills. Just keep a note of everything, because even the smallest thing can be used as a good interview answer. And particularly in interviews, this is key. Now, you can promote yourself at all sorts of places. So in your one-to-one, you should be telling your manager all the things that you've done and what you've done well. When you have your review as well. When you go to meetings, the same as we talked about before, prepare for it, share your successes with people. When you go networking, share your successes with people, share how things have worked for you. Use it as if you're helping them by explaining how it worked for you. And then every opportunity. So, for example, if you bump into a senior leader or an influencer in your organization, whether it's on a Teams meeting or in the kitchen making coffee, and they say, hey, Sheila, how are you? You don't say, I'm fine, thank you. No, 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 no. You say, do you know what? I'm really great today because I've just brought this project in on time and in budget, and it's made a real difference to the organization. Or you say, I'm brilliant because I've just come off this call with a customer who had this serious issue and I've managed to sort it out for them and they're really happy. Find some way, a little elevator pitch, a little one-liner. You don't tell them the whole story unless they ask you, just give them one-liner, because they'll go away with that in their head and they'll think, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll find out a bit more about that. And they might start asking about you. So you need to learn to promote yourself. And in an interview particularly, you absolutely need to be good at selling yourself. This is what gets you the job. The person that gets the job from an interview is not always the best person. They're not always the person that's got the best technical skills. They're not always the person that's got the most experience. They are the person that sells themselves the best, because the interview panel can only go on what you tell them. So you have to tell them a good story. And it's about being proud of yourself, understanding what your achievements are, and sharing that with them. So this is the big secret. So you need to go away and think about it. How well do you promote yourself at the moment? Is selling yourself one of the things that you're not so good at? Find a way to get better at it, because this will help you have a successful career. Brilliant. So I just want to walk through a couple of tips, because everything we've talked about so far has been about sort of the external world that we live in. But actually, if you want to be successful, you need to work on the inner you as well. So these are just some high-level tips for you to think about in order to work on the inner part of you, because sometimes we don't do any work on that and actually can have a really big impact on ourselves and our performance. So some things to think about. Make sure you like yourself. Sometimes we don't really like ourselves, or we don't notice that we like ourselves. But why would you try and improve the life of somebody you don't like? You need to learn to like yourself. List all the things down that you like about yourself, that you're good at. Ask your family what they like about you. Ask your friends why they like you. Learn to like yourself, and then be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself for any mistakes that you make or faux pas that go on, because we all do it and they don't matter in the scheme of things. Use positive language when you're talking to yourself. Don't call yourself stupid or silly. Think about yourself as, oh, I'm learning something new. Make sure you care for yourself. Some kind of self-care routine, some kind of morning routine, some kind of exercise. Are you eating well? All the things to do to care for yourself and make yourself a better version of you, and prioritize yourself. Make sure you are not prioritizing everybody else over yourself. You come first, and then you'll be in a better position to support your family, your colleagues, your friends. And then it's about pushing yourself. Just a little thing each day or each week. What can you do to push yourself? Maybe you go and make a new cake that you've never made before. Maybe you walk down a road you never walked down before. Maybe you go and book that coffee with a senior leader that you would never thought you would have done before. Maybe you take on a task that you've been putting off because it's too scary. Find something to push yourself. Push yourself outside of your comfort zone, just little steps at a time, until you start to realize that actually it's not that scary out there after all. And if you pull all these things together, you will hopefully start to believe in yourself, because believing in yourself is where the magic starts to happen. This is where you will put yourself forward for that job, even though you don't feel ready for it. This is where you'll have a conversation with somebody that you would never have had before. Believe in yourself, because you are capable of doing it. So just a few little tips for you to go away and have a little think about, which of these are you not so good at the moment, and what could you do differently to unlock your potential from within? What would your life look like? What would your life look like if you could find the courage to take different action? What would your life look like if you could, make different choices, take a different step, just be brave about the decisions that you made? Have a little think about it. And then what you want to take away from today is go away and have a little reflect on these three questions. So what is the main thing that's holding you back? There will be something, might even be a few things, but there'll be something that's holding you back. You have to be honest with yourself here, because otherwise it won't help. What do you need to change in order to progress in your career? What can you do differently? What is it that needs to change in order for you to have that successful career? And then if you have a successful career and get that better job, what would you have in your life? What would your life look like if you got that better job? Take a few minutes, just go and sit and think about these things, and what difference it could make to your life. Because I promise you, if you look at these things and you implement the actions, then your life will look better and your career will have all sorts of possibilities. But you have to take action. You have to take action. If you don't take action, nothing will change, and you'll just be staying where you are. And it is scary sometimes, but it's never actually as scary as you think it's going to be. So just think about courage, take a small step, take some kind of action. And I hope that has been useful. Now, there's a couple of small actions you can take that will help you. So I've got a Facebook community that I'm growing at the moment called the Confident Career Club. The link is in the email, or you can look me up on Facebook itself. So come and join this community that I'm growing at the moment, where we can share and talk to each other, and I'll share all sorts of useful tips about your career. And then if you're serious about moving forward, then book a career strategy call with me. It's a free 30-minute call where we talk through what it is you want, and we get you clear, and you'll leave with an action to take in order to help your career. So there we go. Take action and your career will open up all sorts of possibilities. Wish you the very best of luck. And if I can help with anything else, then just give me a shout.